Hello everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead. I've been tagged here to do a video. I think it's kind of an interesting video. 6 questions from BlueGrass Bushcraft was asked and wanted people to do videos on them, and I was tagged in this. Now, I was actually tagged by Old School Without a Modern Twist. And I don't get to watch a lot of different channels real regularly, but I do follow upon these every so often, and I just happened to realize that I'd been tagged in this one. So I'm going to take these 6 particular questions that's been asked here and see if I can answer them. I'm going to see if I can do the best I can with this and see see how it turns out. I really enjoyed the videos I've watched so far in this, and I asked y'all, when you go to watch, go back and look at some of the other videos that's being tagged to these people who I mentioned here. Look at their videos and see what they said, and just see what we can learn from this. I'm gonna look here. I wrote down some of these questions here because I'll never remember them all. But the title of this is going to be, what would you do during SHTF with your family and friends? That's what these 6 questions has to do with. What would you do if an SHTF happened with your family and friends? And I would like to address that in the way that I would look at it. And I think that's what they're wanting. Now, the first one is, have you talked to your family about what would you do if SHTF happened? Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, I've told my daughters, both of their husbands, if something like that happened, you get my girls here as fast as you can. We've talked to Wanda's kids about it. They have places that they can go with other family members. We're close to where they're at. So yes, we have talked to them, and I think that's vitally important that you talk to your family about this, because it's not if it's going to happen, it's when it happens, and you need to have some kind of a contingency plan in place when this all goes down. Now, question number 2, would you ask your family to join in if there was an SHTF? Yes, I would. I definitely would ask my family to join in. I would tell them, you're more than welcome to come here, even extended family. To come, to work as a community and as a family in order for us to be able to survive through the very hard times that we would be facing. I think that's another question that's vitally important that we address, is that we have to understand that just because they're family doesn't mean that they don't have to work. Question number 3, if family and friends are not carrying their weight, what would you do? Now, this is the one that gets difficult for a lot of people. Now, me personally, because of my mentality, if you're not pulling your weight, I don't care who you are. You got to go. Now, if there is a physical issue or some sort of elderly person or some kind of, physical restriction that says you can't do some things, that's totally understandable. If you're perfectly healthy and you're just not doing something simply because you don't want to do it, then that's a different story. Because first of all, if you don't work, you don't eat. I mean, that's my theory based on the Bible. The Bible tells us that that's the way it's supposed to be. And I definitely believe in that, unless there is some sort of physical infirmity that prevents you, or age prevents you from meeting that criteria. Now, if you're too old, to get out and do anything, then definitely you have the wisdom that you could be helping out with. You could show people or tell them how to do things. I mean, your knowledge would still be very valuable in an instance like this. So yes, I would. If you're not going to carry your own weight, you got to go. That'd be my mentality. If food and game was scarce, what would you do? Well, first of all, if food and game had become that scarce, then things would be rationed. We would sit down, we would figure out a what we had left. We would figure out our proteins and our carbs and our sugars and stuff like that. And we would try to figure out, you know, who got what based on the amount of load that you carry, the amount of work that you do. And I mean, it's just understandable that those that get out and work the hardest would necessarily, you know, they would need a little bit higher protein, carb, and sugar diet than the rest of them. If you were just basically sitting around not doing much, then your body would not require as much food as the one who's out actually providing what food or hunting for the food, you know, burning the calories. So I mean, there would have to be an understanding that food would be rationed on a per person basis, as to who gets what. And, you know, and I know that sounds a little bit harsh, but when it comes down to survival, there would be no choices. You would have to do that. If you were in my group, let's put it that way. And number 5, what is your biggest fear when SHTF happens? That's kind of an interesting question there. What is your biggest fear? I don't really... I guess my biggest fear would be not afraid of very many things. I guess if I had to say, it would be that I wouldn't be able to protect everybody from what was happening. If that makes sense. I'm thinking in my mind, the way I'm looking at it is, if I'm not doing a good enough job in being a leader and showing people what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, using the wisdom and understanding that needs to be shown during this particular time, because I would be an elder, and I would think that that's what you would be searching for from an older person, would be the knowledge and the wisdom that they possess. And that's what I would think, that I would fall into some sort of a, whether it be dementia or whatever starts happening, that I could not be able to give the amount of knowledge that I possess to the right people, to do the right things at the right time in order for the group to be sustainable and to survive during an SHTF like that. I guess that would probably be what would bother me the most. And if I had to pick a close second, it would probably be some sort of health care issue. You're not being able to properly help people who had health issues. You know, being there would be no doctors or anything like that, no ambulances, no emergency rooms or anything like that, would be making the right decisions at the right times based on people's health. I mean, these would be a couple of things I could think of right there off the top of my head that would lay the heaviest on my mind. Last but not least, would you join a gang or a clan and rob or steal? Now that's pretty easy for me to answer right there. No, I'm not going to join a gang. I probably don't think I would join a clan of any kind. Although I do believe that there's powers in numbers. And I would think that I would probably try to organize a community in order to have an effort to be able to protect ourselves. Now, as far as robbing and stealing, no. My mom and daddy made sure that was taken out of my system many, many years ago. I mean, if you're raised in the time and period I was, if you stole anything, oh, God help your soul. Because not only was you going to be humiliated and have to go talk to that person, but you was going to get beat within an inch of your life. So, no, there'd be no robbing and no stealing. I feel like that... you know, if we use enough wisdom ahead of time, we'll make enough wise decisions that we'll be able to figure out, you know, in the wild if there's something to eat. I'm not going to steal something that somebody else has. I might go talk to them and ask them if I didn't have, you know, would you be willing to barter some sort of a service for something? I probably would go that route. But no, I'm not joining a gang. I might try to create a group of men that could stand if something happened, I might would be willing to do that. But I'm not going to go out and join some off-the-wall gang and then go around looting and robbing and stealing just to meet our needs. No. And neither would I permit that to happen to us should something like that happen, because in a situation like that, to me, that would be grounds to just take people out. If they come in robbing and stealing. Now, I'm not going to kill somebody for pulling a few turnip greens out of my garden, or you know, getting an apple off the tree or something like that. You know, I'm not going to kill somebody for that. But now, if you come in here with the intent of doing bodily harm to me or my family, yeah, you just crossed a line, and you'll find out real quick like what kind of person I am. So, you know, I hope that you know, this is kind of interesting for me to do this. And I know that BlueGrass Bushcraft probably has no concept of who I even am. But Old School with a Modern Twist, I have seen them on some of our videos before, and I do usually, when I see some people around, I do go check out channels, you know, occasionally, and I'll watch a few of their videos and just to give them a few views. And y'all seen here a while back in our 50,000 sub giveaway, that was one of the main things that we did, was encourage people to go to the small channels and help them out. And in doing that, we felt like we were blessing the smaller channels, and by doing that, actually, we learned about this. So that was a blessing in disguise, and being able to could do a collab with them. I think that's quite interesting. And it wasn't asked for me to do this, but I noticed that Old School with a Modern Twist tagged several people that he would like to see do this video. And you know, guys, I've thought about it and thought about it. There's a few people I would like to see do this, but they probably would not do it, and I'll mention them. I'll mention one of them right off the top of the hat. That's JC with Balls to the Swamp. I think he would be a fantastic person to answer some of these questions, because you know, he always has his Q&A on Sundays and stuff now, and he does a fantastic job with videos. You know, JC would be the perfect guy to answer some of these questions. You know, I hardly ever push a lot of different people. One would be Homestead Mama. Her and Ben, I think, would be another YouTube channel that probably would be really good at answering these questions here. So, you know, JC from Balsam Swamp, Homestead Mama, Full House Homestead, I think that they would be another channel that would be really, really good to get their opinion on this, because they seem to be on, you know, it's one of the same pages that I'm on. As far as prepping and providing, they have a big family and stuff like that. They live on family land there and all. I think they would be a good person to do that. Now, I'm not going to throw out a bunch of other YouTube channels, because I don't actually know of anybody that I really can think of that would be the person to do this. You know, I mean, I'm sure once I get through this video, it'll just pop into my head and I'll go, oh, I don't know why I didn't mention that person. But anyway, guys, regardless of anything else, you know, those would be the two that I would like to see do a video on it. So I'm not going to keep tying y'all up here. I hope that my version of what I would do is a little bit interesting, because I do have a little bit different concept than a lot of people do about something like this happening. And I believe that I believe I could stand on what I've said without too much problems. So without going any further, I'm gonna say thank y'all for I'm gonna say thank you to Old School with a Modern Twist for tagging me, first of all. Thank you for watching my videos. We really appreciate it. And y'all go watch BlueGrass Bushcraft and see all the people that you know, that Old School with a Modern Twist, see who he's tagged, see who BlueGrass Bushcraft's tagged, and check out all these channels. and see what their opinions is on it. And then, hey, ask yourself these 6 questions. What would you do? I think it would be interesting. Thank y'all from Deep South Homestead.